Hello.
Hello, everyone. All right, we just wait a minute, give a chance of folks to join, and then we're going to get started. Okay, I think we're good to go. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining the llm-d community call. Good morning, good afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. Just give me 1 second. So this is the agenda for today. We'll follow similar kind of pattern from last time. This time around, though, we're going to start with some kind of quick community update. I'm pleased to introduce you guys to Peter Cheslock. He's going to help us with community operations, much needed as we grow. So, Pete, I'll give you the floor for a quick update, and then we'll proceed with the agenda.
Awesome. Thanks, Carlos. Appreciate it. So yeah, just a quick update on our side. Wanted to update folks and remind everyone this meeting is being recorded. We will share the recording in Slack after the meeting's over, as well as transcript. And I think Gemini might be taking notes as well. So essentially all of the call artifacts will be saved. They will be shared to the llm-d contributors group. So you can see in this doc here, I've got links to join that group so you can get access to those files. Make sure you join the Slack as well. A lot of the conversations happening there asynchronously. And then I've also added a link to the public calendar for any of the other SIGs, any of the projects that will all be there. Those meetings also will have recording enabled and shared out if you can't join afterwards. And then real quick, just wanted to update everyone that we're working on trying to improve file sharing across the project. You know, obviously we've got personal Gmail, which is sharing some files. And then when files get shared from like an IBMer or a Red Hat or someone else, they kind of fall under different corporate policies. So we're working on a process to create an llm-d Google Workspace specific. That way project contributors can have Drive access. We can delegate it out to SIG owners and things like that. But most importantly, it'll allow us to share files so that anyone can see the link, which is an issue we ran into in the earlier meetings this week, where the notes, you had to be a llm-d contributor. So until we get that out, just join the llm-d contributor Google group, because that'll at least get shared out to all of the members of that group. But if you do have any other questions, you'll find us in the Slack, in the community Slack channel. And that's really all I have. So I'll pass it back over to you, Carlos.
Great. Thanks, Pete, so much. And again, I mean, any troubles, please shoot the message to Pete. I think all the hiccups with the recording, all of those things should be in the past. I think we're better shape now. So very good. If no question or comments for this one, we'll proceed to the next item. Is Jeremy in the call already? Okay, I don't see Jeremy yet. So let's just kind of postpone this one for after open forum. Let's proceed to open forum, and then we come back to the workload benchmark piece that Jeremy wants to talk about. So let's do open forum now. Any burning question or any update from the broader team here you want to raise so we can have a discussion? Feel free to grab the mic. Right, have a shy crowd today. Very good. So I'll proceed then to a couple of updates, and that hopefully should motivate a few comments, right? And then we can come back to open forum. Let's proceed to community updates. The field. We can spend a few minutes here. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. Two important ones. So remember, we have a proposal process, right? This is truly a project where we welcome, of course, new feature proposals. We ourselves going through this process well. The two proposals actually that they were put in place. One is for the autoscaler. This is, of course, a super important piece of this project, right? There were a couple of ideas, some initial thoughts. This was actually now kind of captured in a proposal. It was, of course, raised here. We got a bunch of very nice, actually, comments, and the proposal was merged. You guys can see in the link that I have here. And the first code drop with a prototype was also added to the llm-d incubation organization, right? So that's kind of the flow. And then now we have the chance, of course, to iterate, evaluate value and all of that, and follow the graduation into the main repo, right? So if you haven't seen the proposal and the code, you guys can follow here. And I don't know if Tamar or anyone involved, or John, you guys want to chime in for what is in place now.
And, yes, let me chime in. Can you hear me? First of all, we have a SIG auto scaling meeting today at 2 p.m., so please join. So yes, we work jointly together. IBM Research and Google worked jointly on a proposal and got merged. The proposal was very high level. We have our own code that we dropped in, and this is something that works for us internally for our internal experimentations, but it doesn't support all the use cases yet for llm-d. So we'll review what we've put there. The good news is it's an extensible architecture, so it's something that we can build off of and continue to add features. We'll review today. We're also working on a design document that we'll present next time. John, do you want anything to add? Do you want to add anything?
Yeah. So I'm just putting down notes as well. So Kaushik from our end, he's going to share actually it's already shared to the llm-d contributor email group on the SLO intention capturing interface. So basically that's the APIs for how we wanted to be able to capture the SLO for different use cases. And then that would be consumed by both the autoscaler as well as the inference scheduler as well. So please take a look at that proposal, and anything we're happy to discuss.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nir.
Yeah. So I've seen the doc, but haven't read it yet too carefully. I just wanted to ask like a question about the extension points, if you thought about it. So basically, I assume you are in the loop of the work that is done in gateway inference extension to make it pluggable in some extension points. And I've seen Kaushik message that he wrote that it's going to be based on time to first token and such metrics. And so the question is, do you think it makes sense to have extension points here? Like, can I define SLOs based on different metrics, on different fields, on any other than the ones that you currently have?
Yeah, so this is kind of our high level line of thinking here. On the API side, we might be more broad than what we plan to implement, right? And then it's definitely open for extension. Like, it's not limited to this API, the metrics that we currently have. It can be extended to the future. It might, like I said, it might even be broader than what we first implement. And then as kind of the time grows and we gain more traction in the community and hopefully getting more contributors, we can expand it to more things. Yeah. And just one more thing to add, right? Because I know, like, on the GIE side, there is a plugin framework, and then also there's a refactoring effort that Abdullah is leading. This is basically building on top of it, and then taking in, whatever we're doing more upstream.
Perfect. Abdullah?
Yeah, just a quick comment. Like, it's great that we start to iterate over what we want to express in the API, but I expect that we will have at least a proof of concept algorithm that shows that, expressing those intents, we're able to actually take advantage of them and do something useful. So it's great to start the discussion of the API, but I expect that we will not have them in the API until we have a POC algorithm that actually does something useful with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Callan. It makes sense to me. I don't know if Tamar wants to comment before we move on to Callan.
I think it's actually a little bit of a chicken and egg problem. So
I don't think so, because you can still express those intents as annotations. So you're not blocked to actually prototype and do everything you want right now.
then that's okay. Then that's okay. Then if we can express them as annotations and experiment with algorithms that actually do something with them and show improvement, show value, I think I'm cool with that. I don't know what you think, John, but I think I'm cool with that as a phase, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think Abdullah's point here is like we can't be just like pie in the sky and have something that's just totally achievable, right? Like if we think at least on paper a path forward, we can put the API. But if it's something just completely a dream, let's not put in the API.
Yep.
But there are also some SLOs that are like sort of standard that we should have, right? So the question is like there is a minimum set that is probably we should definitely have because this is standard in the industry, versus some more experimental ones. So I think I need to look at the details of the proposal. I didn't have a chance yet, John.
Okay. Thank you. Callan?
Yeah. Sorry, with the extension points, I agree with what's being said here. We need to, I think we need to focus on a first implementation. I think worrying about extensions when we're trying to develop something new is a mistake. I think it will cause development time to draw out, and we might create abstractions that are never used. I think simple first is best. I think that will keep the pace quick. And one thing I wanted to ask was with regards to the SLO, I believe that was fields being added to the inference gateway API. So is that, I know obviously it affects us here in llm-d, but I'm just kind of curious how we're planning on delineating that. How do we want to operate there if it's a inference gateway addition?
So kind of like my high level here is I'm looking to kind of use llm-d as a fast-paced incubation space, right? Because like there are some uncertainty and things we are not entirely sure we wanted to upstream just yet, right? So I wanted to get things into certain maturity state and then upstream.
Cool.
Yeah. Rob?
Yeah, I was looking through that proposal, and like it seems like the saturation point and like basically creating that curve is kind of the main item that needs, or at least from the VLM side, like it seems like the ability to kind of create those saturation curves is really important. So if you want to chat John about like what more telemetry is needed to create that, please let me know and we can make sure that the work is chatted.
Definitely. Yes. Agreed.
Great. All right. So keep going. I just want to again call out the other proposal. This is the model service one. This is the move from like CRDs to HAL, right? So again, this was merged. I think some new code will be put into incubation organization as well. Soon, I don't think it's there yet, but just so you guys know that another proposal just got merged. I don't know if Shri or anyone from the model service team is on the call and wants to chime in. Okay, so if that's not the case, let's continue. I think John, the next topic, I think you commented on already, but if you haven't or want to expand on anything, please feel free to do so now. Okay, Rob?
Sorry, I didn't mean to have my hand up.
Okay. John, is there any other comment for the SLO proposal?
No, I think it's good. Let's take it on the doc and just please leave comments.
That's good.
Any discussions there?
Great. Rob, do you want to comment on the KV transfer protocol doc?
Sure. So this is getting into a pretty final state, which is focused on hardening the APIs that are going to be used for the PD disaggregation components. We had initial prototype implementations that were part of the initial llm-d release. And so this doc has been all about hardening these and thinking them through a little bit more holistically. So been getting a lot of good feedback on this, and we're already moving forward on implementing some of the components in here, and I'll be converting this into a PR later this week.
Great, thanks, Rob. Is there any blocker you want to share with the community on this one?
No, I think we've gotten good feedback. The main kind of last item that we're looking at right now is some of the KV transfer metadata can actually be quite large because we have to send block IDs. So this can grow, with the length of the request. So, if you have 1 million tokens, you're going to have basically 1 million divided by the block size. So the size of the payloads can be actually quite large. So we're hoping to use HTTP headers for this, but this is not going to work due to the size restrictions. So we're looking at a couple of alternatives here, and this is the kind of last item that's being debated before we finalize things.
Okay. Great, sounds good. Thanks, Rob. Any comment, question on this one before we move on? All right, so Vita, on the SIG inference scheduler.
Yeah, I think we kicked off yesterday the meeting, and there was a very good discussion. We have a roadmap document that is shared. You are welcome to it. There's also, as Pete mentioned, there was a recording and transcript, and there is a Slack channel. We already started the discussion about the SLO document in the document and in the Slack channel. So just for awareness, and the guys are welcome to come. And there is indeed some of the topics and touch between the autoscaler SIG and SIG inference scheduler, especially in this area of queues and SLO and prioritization.
Okay, sounds good. Great. Yeah, so we have a bunch of these SIG meetings now, really kind of getting into a nice cadence and activities. So feel free to join them. They are on the shared calendar, as we mentioned at the beginning. And again, just want to kind of give a big shout out for the activity and a lot of the nice discussion that are happening there. Very good. So let's talk about the SIG installation. And this is an important one. Some of the feedback that we keep getting from the community is just it's easy to get started, but sometimes it's just it's a monolith, our deployer. So there's a lot of activity to kind of break that a little bit based on feedback we're getting from the community. So I don't know if Greg or Brent, you guys on the call, I want to talk about some of the discussion and early steps here.
Yeah, we started some, as you were saying, Carlos, some initial discussion specifically on migrating to the upstream GAIE charts as a dependency of our chart, and also breaking out the installation of the infra components from the actual pieces that get installed from the Helm chart. And so, please put your availability for meeting times if you're interested in this SIG. And Brent has done a lot of great work on proposing an initial North Star document. And we hope to integrate everyone's individual concerns and goals into that. So please feel free to contribute there.
Okay, that's good. Excellent. Let's move on to Maroon.
Hang out for the community to know that there were a few docs we published last week, all on KV cache management, north-south path, east-west path. It has been reviewed by Rob and Google, and it's open for comments for anyone. We'll kick off a SIG meeting, I think, next week, very soon. So putting out a notification on the docs to be reviewed.
Okay. Great. If no comment on questions here, I'll keep moving on. So Yuan,
yeah, as some of you might know, we've been, so specifically the llm-d model service group have been working together with the KServe community on proposing a new CRD specifically designed for LLM inference. So we'd like to support llm-d deployment really well in that CRD. So we have a proposal ready for public comments. If anyone's interested, feel free to take a look. And we'll be also working on splitting the work, create separate issues in case of repo in case anyone would like to collaborate as well.
Yeah, Mike. Mike, you raise your hand, but I think change your mind. So you have any comment? Okay. All right. So I think, of course, we discussed about this in this community at the beginning, right? Intersections with like a deployment. This is very important as we, of course, expand the reach. So I think this work is super important. So if you can keep coming back here with updates, I think that would be very good. I don't see any other topics, so I'll give folks again a chance to just raise an issue, request before I go back to the topic that we skipped. So if there is any topic that was not covered here, yeah, feel free to raise it now. All right. So Jeremy, are you on the call? Do you want to go back and talk about the survey? Sorry, there is one question. Yeah, somebody's raising a hand and changing his or her, excuse me, or her mind. So feel free to chime in if you have questions. Okay, Jeremy, are you back?
Yeah, I'm here. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yeah.
My main question is, how are folks gathering use cases? Really, and it can the designs and not just the autoscaler, but other designs have use cases in mind. I'm looking for those to be like written down, the particular use cases we want to support. I think there were some North Star documents on that, but then how do we collect like user feedback more regularly? Other communities have done it through a survey.
I'm
going to ask, are you willing to step up and help drive some of this collection?
So, yeah, of course. Like we have, absolutely. I think yeah.
I'll say so far, like I have a series that I maintain for our internal customers, and some of those have gone into the proposals, captured in very simple form. I think every proposal should come with the actual use cases, and that needs to be backed by additional docs. So certainly, like I can help work with you to get some of the things I have. If you can help push, I'm very supportive actually of I think the gathering use cases and getting deployers. I think one of the discussions we've had so far has been, I'm in communication with a number of large deployers. A lot of the VLLM ecosystem is as well. I know folks from Red Hat and IBM have mentioned they've got use cases. I think that would be a great central doc for us to try to create, which is to curate a list of use cases that we're seeing more broadly, and then to go through and prune it down to support the use cases that we kind of already have in some of the proposals at the same time as we're trying to make progress on some of these. Like, you can point at the DeepSeek one. I have users who would like to deploy something very close to the DeepSeek reference inference system because they roughly validated its assumptions on their own, but they don't have the time to go implement it. That's a use case that I think supports our roadmap, but we haven't done some of the legwork to get that into a formal doc that the community.
So that's one proposal. The other thing is, I can begin that, no problem. The other question was, do we have, or do you think like the extended group here has a need for an operations focused or observability focused kind of either SIG or like, group?
Yeah, I'll jump in here just because I want to comment on this one specifically. Yeah, I wonder about like just capturing like the SRE persona a little better. I don't know if there are representatives here in this group. I'm for one think we should have something specific for ops. We have some bits and pieces right now, but I don't think we as kind of focus on that persona. So I'll vote to have something more specific. Jeremy, you can also help us kind of organize that as well. I think next line is Mark.
Yeah, at least the survey idea that brought up, we kind of had an internal discussion at Red Hat. So I did start putting together what a rough survey might look like, including all the different use cases I could list out, as well as the different SLOs and metrics. So that's nearly complete. Happy to share that out, but would love to get feedback on that in general. We kind of, at least at Red Hat, we have a few other initiatives that we definitely want to get a survey like this out. I think it could help empower llm-d significantly as well, especially for targets. But just want to throw that out there that, yeah, if anybody's interested, more than happy to share that out. And if people could take a look through, that'd be great to get comments and feedback on.
It's great. John?
Yeah, so I wonder like how we intersect with kind of each 6 in terms of kind of use case gathering. I feel like what's probably most lacking right now is on the KV manager one, or KV disaggregation, right? Because we're talking about like different tiers of cache between HBM, between RAM and remote, right? Like it would be really good to nail down the use cases there. That's where I think like they can actually use most of the help on at the moment.
Yeah, and I plan to publish the prefix cache uses. I have to strip an internal doc down that we have, but I'd be happy to provide that to whoever's kind of driving those as well.
Yeah, so it's the right takeaway that we all agree that having kind of central shared use case user stories that to inform across work streams. This is what we're looking for, which is somewhat lacking, right? I think that's the fair takeaway from this discussion.
Aaron, do you mind if I do want to go or? So I'll say, I think that there's value in making sure that we all understand the use cases that we're hearing, because unlike maybe previous projects that some of us have worked on, this is a little bit narrower of a field, right? Like the leading edge is pretty far from the bleeding edge is very far from the leading edge, and the leading edge is pretty far from the trailing edge or the middle of the pack right now. So just making sure that we have things that we can reference so people can say, yeah, I recognize that, or no, that's new to me. I think it's super useful. I will say in practice, in previous projects, that tends to not be as useful once you get going as people using the features and giving you feedback about how it doesn't fit in their use case. It takes a lot of work to keep those up to date. I think it's important. I would really say my personal experience from Kubernetes is that a use case in a proposal is the single most valuable place to capture that. Everywhere else will ultimately drift and be a little bit weaker and is not as valuable. But when you're making a change to the project, your use case is crisp, you can support it, you can explain it to others, and others can recognize it, is like 99% of the value of the use case. And I think we've done a pretty good job so far in the 3 or 4 proposals, but we need to make sure that others adding stuff know what use. Like I would expect every proposal for a top level change to the project to come with a really good, well-researched use case, and we've got to get that movement going. So I'm supportive of it. It may be less important as we go on.
Maroon?
And just pointing out, it would be good to chat. So since we're about to run out of time, it would be good to chat on this on the Slack, John D. And we can follow up there.
Yep. Sounds good. Marty?
Yeah, so Clayton, just following on from that, are you saying that you want, have a good definition of what proposals are, or like what KEPs are in Kubernetes, so that you have a clearly defined definition of the use case, etc., and what somebody is planning to do?
Project proposals today in this project, we scoped a basic process, and it inherits some of the it's a stripped down version. It's it cuts out a lot of the stuff that accrued over time that we don't need yet. But one of the sections is use cases, and I think use case continues to be the most important part. Like if you can't clearly articulate how this feature is going to be used, and then debate it with the other people who also have customers and use cases who might want that feature, usually the feature isn't ready yet. I don't think we have to do excruciating detail in the proposal. I think that's prep work that needs to be done before we're at the proposal phase. Like in the North Stars, for instance, I was sharing use cases with Rob and with Carlos that we have, but we need to get formal about it. Like verbally sharing isn't enough, because others need to be able to review and understand, kind of who the project is targeting and what people are saying. You can't just take a feature as a requirement. You need to understand the why of the change. And I don't think the proposal is the appropriate source to have all of that detail.
All right.
Okay, makes sense. Thanks.
Okay. Great discussion, folks. We're running out of time. If there are any other question, of course, feel free always to bring it in Slack. I'll be back here next week. This was recorded, and there are a couple follow-ups that I suggest we can do either in the SIGs or main channel, and you go from there. Thanks all for joining inputs, and let's keep going. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.